Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here, joined by my friend and business partner, Sean Casey. We have another Wednesday marketing webinar for you. And on this call, it will be more of basically like website and business analysis, and also not just from like an SEO point of view, but a lot more outside of that in terms of like how we would market stuff, so on and so forth. We had some leftover from last week, and we had some new submissions as well. We might not be able to get through all of them, but I'll ask you guys a question, and that is, if we don't get through everything today, which we likely won't, would you rather I save the leftover ones for like a future call down the line, or would you rather we just do the rest of them next week, or would you want like some new training or topics next week and just wait until later on the rest of them? So feel free to give your input in the little chat box there, because we want to make sure that the calls are what you guys want. So feel free to give your input. Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for the input right there. So with that, we'll be actually going through several of the sites and stuff today, and I promise at least one of the sites that we'll get through today will be a Shopify one, because we've had a few people ask some questions on that, like how can they change basically the SEO stuff there, because I'm sure most of you know, but some might not, but Shopify technically it's not like on your servers or anything, and it's not technically your site or platform, so there's like less stuff that you can do there, and it works a little differently, but you can still change a lot of things like the title tags and basically the most important things in terms of the SEO. So we'll show you how with that. It's actually fairly easy to do so, but if you don't know how, obviously it's a bit more hard, but once you'll see how, that will be pretty easy. So I'll probably do that part in the second half or so, but we'll for sure have that, and then have a handful of other sites. And then of course, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can feel free to ask those in the chat box, and we'll either answer you in the chat, or towards the end of the call we'll have some time for a Q&A. And of course, you'll have a chance to win $100 live on the call as well, which we'll give you some more details on in just a little bit right here towards the end of the call. And as always, if you have any ideas or any topics that you'd like to see covered on a future call, let us know, because I'm sure most of you know this, but we have these calls every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is right about now. And they vary from like website and business analysis to different kinds of trainings and demos, and all sorts of stuff like that. So if there's any topic of interest or anything, let us know. And of course, feel free to search a lot of our past calls as well in the members area inside of Webfire under the training tab, and then under the Wednesday calls. So without further ado, we'll get moving on to some of the businesses. So one of the businesses, I'll just go to it right here. Let me find the one to start with. It was right here. So they had a unique problem. It was a website that sells, they're more so a business and site that sells basically signs. So like anything from stop signs to slow down signs to all sorts of stuff like that. And their main concern was that several of their most popular products, which I wrote one down here just so I would make sure to remember, would be like the neighborhood watch signs and stuff like that. And they were saying that the issue that they had is that a lot of their most popular products had a super high bounce rate, like upwards of 90%, which basically means a lot of the traffic that would go to that product page would instantly leave. And they weren't quite sure why, and they were trying to do some things to fix that. And I'll actually address some reasons as to why that might be in just a bit here. But first, I'll start with their main site. And I don't think it's bad to start with. You know, you land on the site and you want to know almost instantly what it's about. I see pretty quickly it's a sign company. I get the idea that they make, you know, all sorts of signs. You see the different, you know, it looks like they have signs, they have sign posts, and you know, all sorts of stuff like that. I get down here and I'm not quite sure what this is for. Like they have a video that says to deliver personalized wall decorations and custom interiors. That has absolutely nothing to do with signs. My hunch is that maybe this is a way where people can create their own sign, maybe, not quite sure. And maybe this is like a separate tool that they use from elsewhere for people to help do that, but it's not clear at all, and it kind of throws me way off. If this is like some kind of other tool to help or anything like that, maybe have some text saying that, because I go from, oh, you're all about signs, to, oh wait, you do wall decor and custom interiors, which has nothing to do with signs, but oh wait, you're back to signs right here. Doesn't make much sense, throws me a bit off, so you need to either clarify that or get rid of that. And then we see some of their best sellers and stuff down here. Now, one thing is I see their, you know, they don't do a bad job, you know, in terms of like the basic SEO and stuff, but let's specifically address the main issue that they had, which they said some of their most popular products have a super high bounce rate, and one of their, and they happen to be the best sellers. One was the Neighborhood Watch. So if the Neighborhood Watch is a best seller, the first thing is I had no clue how to even find it. Like I looked all over, didn't initially see it, you know, right there. So if you do have several top sellers that people are looking for, feature them. Don't make them hard to find, because even though you said that was a big one right there, I didn't see it, so I had to do a search for it up here. Most people, if they don't see it, won't even think of searching. So we'll just click search, and we see right here they have two main different designs right here. Let's click this guy right here. So, and we can see that the title tag they have, which is the little drop down you see right there, is Neighborhood Watch dash Municipal Supply and Sign Company. Well, one thing I do right off the bat, like immediately off the bat, is to optimize this a bit more. You want to specify what the Neighborhood Watch is, because if you're trying to rank for that term, 99% of the time, this is a bad match actually, because someone that's doing a search for Neighborhood Watch most likely isn't searching for a sign. Clearly, you only want guys that are looking for a sign, so try to optimize for that. Like, try to rank for stuff like Neighborhood Watch sign, Neighborhood Watch aluminum sign, or something more along those lines. So you can use the keyword tool to kind of see like what gets searched, what the competition's like, and all that right there. So definitely change that, because that might make a pretty big difference in terms of the quality of traffic that you get, especially if you have a really high bounce rate. It means that when people are landing on the page aren't necessarily getting what they want. The other thing too is, since you have such a super high bounce rate of 90%, that basically tells you one thing. Now, you will always get some guys that go and leave. You'll never have like, you know, a perfect bounce rate or anything. But one of the big things is it basically says, hey, people that are finding you, that are landing on your page for whatever reason, don't like what they see, okay? So if such a high percentage of people, 9 out of 10, are leaving immediately, that tells you that, hey, you don't have what they're looking for. So they probably had an idea that based upon your link and stuff, you probably were a sign, even though you didn't basically optimize for a sign as much, but it's kind of obvious that it would be a sign. Specifically, when they go here, they see, you know, this like aluminum sign, and I see two issues with that. One, you don't know if the person is looking for like an aluminum type sign, or if you're looking for like basically a sticker, like basically a sticker sign to post on their window or on their door as like a warning. Like most people looking for a sign like this, at least on like a residential scale, you know, realistically probably don't want an aluminum sign right on their spot. My guess is like 90% of the residential sales, if not 95 or 99%, are probably more on the cheaper end, like basically the stickers or like simple signs they can post up right there. Now, even if you're targeting the basically towns or the neighborhoods and those kinds of places themselves, that's all great. But even then, it might be that people that go right here, they see just the sign and their immediate thought might be like, oh, well, I need the post and all that stuff too. And even if you have the post on your site, you're asking people to do work. You're asking people to search. When, you know, it's kind of like if you're hungry for a salad, okay? Or let's say you're hungry for a sandwich, and you go to, let's say, a gas station just to get like a quick sandwich or any place like that. Are you more likely to buy the pre-made one that's basically right there in your face, has everything you need, has the bread, has the lettuce, has the ham, has the mayo, has all, you know, has the cheese and all that right there? Or are you more likely to go to, let's say, a store and you see some ham and you're like, oh, gee, that looks really good. I'm going to also find the bread. I'm going to find the lettuce. I'm going to find the mayo. I'm going to find the cheese. I'm going to put that all together. You know, which one are you more likely to do if you're hungry? You're going to try to get the all-in-one. So even if you don't want to necessarily sell them all as like an all-in-one, make sure that it's super easy on this page right here that they can quickly click to add, let's say, a post on it, where they can buy the post and all that too, to have the complete kit and stuff right there. Because it might be a lot of people, again, are landing on this, seeing that, oh, I don't want just that, I want the entire thing. Or, oh, I don't want that, I want like the actual sticker. And because you're not optimizing specifically for what you are, right there, you're also perhaps basically getting a lot of traffic that isn't necessarily looking for exactly what you have. And if you wanted to, it'd be an interesting test to have on this page right here, to not only have a little way where they could add like the entire post and stuff into like the entire kit, but also have other neighborhood watch signs show up right here, like other recommended neighborhood watch signs or anything like that. Even if you want to try to sell the stickers and stuff too, you could aim for that as well, and you know, hopefully get some sales and stuff right there. The other thing from a marketing perspective too is if you know that maybe some of your best clients are probably like the towns and stuff themselves, you can actually, instead of waiting for them to find you, you can actually reach out to those places and such too, especially if you know that you have competitive prices and such, where you can reach out and say, you know, hey, if ever there's like any signs or anything that you need, we supply those at, you know, really good rates and deals, and we're, you know, happy to beat whoever you currently use right now. That's kind of a way to kind of get like a little in where you don't have to wait for them to find you, but you can proactively go out and try to find them. The other thing too that you want to absolutely do on all the individual signs that you have. So on like, you know, if we scroll down here, on all these different signs, you know, you can make sure to individually try to optimize you know, for each one. So make sure like just kind of go through you know, each one. And this is a bit weird in that you know, so I get why you have this, but you know, it's people are probably looking to click on that too. But when they go down here, make sure that you know, all of these pages are highly optimized for the keyword in question. Especially look at like, hey, use the keyword tool and see, are people looking for just signs? Are they looking for like aluminum signs or like metal signs? Like, you don't know the search terms that they're actually using until you actually check that. And even then, it might be like the basic sign keyword might be really hard to rank for, whereas if you add something like metal or like aluminum to it, it might be way easier to rank for, and perhaps also better optimized at the same time right there. So that's just stuff to consider right there. The other thing too is you would probably be, you would probably know why, but my question right here is, why is this sign like $13 and this sign and this sign like $200? Like is one a kit? Is one just the sign? Like here's one that's $310. It's not really clear, and it might be a little confusing if a guy is looking to buy, let's say the $300 sign, and he sees that right next to it there's another sign that's like $15. He might start to actually question like what's wrong, like why is it so expensive here? So make sure, like if the expensive one is like an entire kit or anything like that, maybe try to basically target that and such right there. Sean, do you have any input on this site right here before we go on to a different one?
Yeah, I wanted to start off the very beginning. You mentioned the bounce rate that the customers or our members concerned about, which is, and the bounce rate, for anybody who's not familiar with that, is the bounce rate is like how many people hit the page and just leave right away. And generally they leave right away because they didn't find what they were looking for. So sometimes, you're looking for, you're not looking for a stop sign, but whatever you typed in, and clicked on, you thought you were going to a page that was a different kind of sign or something, and so you're just not on the right page, so you immediately leave because you're not like, oh, I didn't want to buy a stop sign, but since I'm here, I think I'll buy a stop sign. So bouncing is normal, even whether it's paid ads, whether it's search engine traffic, whatever it is. So you don't need to panic that people bounce, because that's normal. And the real question is if you can figure out why they bounce and get less of them to bounce. And sometimes it's just you've got confusing things on your page that are knocking them off, like Brian mentioned, the interior decorating or whatever it was, right? I mean, that's confusing to people. Or if they land on a page and they're looking for a stop sign, but they don't see the stop sign right away, or they don't see the walk sign, or they don't see whatever, right? So you want to make sure that people can instantly get whatever it is. You also need to make sure your page loads completely and quickly in terms of that, because if your page takes a long time to load, and since so much of your traffic is going to be on mobile, it's particularly important that if someone's there like, okay, like I'm waiting, I'm not waiting any longer, right? Because as a species, humanity is impatient. So that's another thing. But all bouncing, just because people bounce isn't bad, but you obviously want as little of them as possible to bounce, and also to try to figure out where they're coming from, because there might be a reason. Now, if all your paid ads, the people get to your page and bounce, there's something wrong completely, because your paid ads should be set up to attract the primary prospect. So if you run ads that say, this is the best place to get a stop sign, and people land on your page and they don't stick around to at least investigate, then you really got a disconnect between the people you're drawing in and what's happening on your page. And let's move on.
And they said too, what I found really interesting was that the most popular products that they had seemed to be the ones with the highest bounce rate, like the neighborhood watch one. And that was why, like, one reason I thought might be because people that are searching for signs might not necessarily be like the metal ones. Like it might be, again, like people looking for like the stickers that go on their house, or on like their door, on the on the window, or stuff like that. So it could just be that like you might be getting ranked for stuff, which is great, but it might not be the exact thing that people are looking for.
Right.
So just make sure to think of that, and then also make sure that every sign you have, try to individually optimize as best you can for that. But also proactively, why not reach out to all those towns and stuff too, and kind of test that on a case-by-case basis. So the next site is a hair growth site. So it's basically natural remedies for hair loss and baldness and all that right there. and they said, my impression of it was that they said that they were basically doing a lot of paid traffic and they haven't made any sales. Now, it sounded like, if memory serves, they've been only trying for a few days, and they didn't say what the budget was. So again, there's a major difference between like a $5 a day budget and like a $500 a day budget. So oftentimes, like, a lot of guys will start to sell stuff. They'll have like a $5 a day budget for like a $50 thing, and they'll say, man, it's been a day or two and I haven't made a sale yet. This might not work. So I mean, you have to put that all in context, and without knowing that, I can't really judge that. But what I can is a few things wrong on the page itself. So first of all, one of the major things I saw is you had this link right here, but if I go to your like home site, is blank. So like a lot of people will naturally sometimes check out that. And if they see like a blank site with nothing there, immediately, not necessarily right or wrong, but immediately a lot of people will assume, oh, this must be a scam because this site does not even appear to be here. It's a weird link, you know, yada, yada, yada. So keep that in mind right there. I do love the domain name itself, hairgrowthingredients.com. I think is a really awesome name for a really awesome domain name. I should say that niche right there because there's not a lot of good ones left. But as far as the sales page itself, I see like a lot of disconnect. I like the headline. It implies that, you know, less than a month, basically. You know, there's some natural ingredients to, you know, reduce hair loss or baldness or stuff like that. I would maybe change up the headline a bit to say a bit more like, you know, discover, you know, the natural ingredients and remedies available to you over the counter or anything like that to naturally regrow your hair, you know, in less than you know 30 days or something along more along those lines to grab like a lot of attention. And then it just seems like a lot in the sales page could be kind of fixed up a bit. One of the big things I see right here is that, you know, you say you show some pictures here, and it's like, okay, that's a model with hair, that's a guy with some hair. But if you're talking about hair regrowth, okay, my first thought is I could take a picture of anyone with a bunch of hair and say, hey, look, this person has a lot of hair, my product's great. If you really want to sell a hair regrowth, what do you think is the number? In fact, let's ask people on this call, what is the number one thing that you want to see if you're trying to advertise a hair regrowth? All right, let's see what you guys say.
I want to see bald people who now have hair.
Yeah.
Just me.
All right. Jay had it right on the dot, as did Martin and our Katie and Richard, everyone, and a bunch of others now. Everyone's saying before and after. Because, again, if you're trying to sell the hair regrowth, everyone's question is, does this really work? And the only way to know if it works is to see some kind of a picture there or have some kind of proof there. And this is just like wasted pictures. And it almost turns me off a bit to think that, like, you know, hey, if you can't show a before and an after picture, this just looks like a random stock image that you found. I really want to see a before and after or some kind of proof that it actually works. That's a huge thing to miss right there. The other thing is the story you have, you know, kind of just, it seems like a bit all over the place. So like right here, this is one thing that I was like completely confused on. You say right here, one of my customers recently sent me a snapshot of his bald head, promising to give me a certain awesome amount of money if only the hair growth products I was selling to him would help him to grow his hair again. So right there, I'm thinking, oh, perfect. He's about to say how he helped this client and how within a month this client saw some more growth, but it's not mentioned. So like naturally I'm thinking like, okay, so what happened there? Did you help him? Did he not get helped? And because he didn't say, my immediate thought is, oh, he didn't help this guy. And this is what a lot of people are thinking. If it works so well, they'll pay a ton as long as there's proof that it will work. And you don't address that. Instead, you actually bring up the main concern that people have without offering a solution there, or without actually providing an answer. So you're actually probably scaring guys away, because it'd be kind of like if I said, like, you know, you know, imagine if you were selling, I don't know, almost any kind of a product out there, like let's say you were selling a product on how to serve a faster serve in tennis, okay? And somewhere in your sales page, you say, hey, a customer named Bob reached out to me. He had a slow serve, and he wanted to see if I could help him. And then I stopped right there. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense, because naturally you want to then say, hey, how did you help them? What was the progress? What did you do for them? So if you helped them, finish the story there. Because again, as of right now, it just looks odd. So it looks like, you know, the sales page definitely needs a lot of help. Definitely, I think, want to fix this up a bit right here. If it's a paid, you know, if it's a paid option, have, like, you know, a price right there, have like a guarantee. Like, I don't know if this is free, I don't know if it's paid. Let's just click here and see. In this case, it looks like, yeah, so if this is free, which I assume it is, say so. You never say this is free or anything like that. And even on the main page right here, if this truly is like a free book where you're trying to get leads and stuff, by all means, like, say that. Say, you know, hey, enter your email below to discover the natural way for free about how to start to regrow your hair in 28 days. I mean, even a simple message like that with a simple headline and like even like a small paragraph of writing and a simple opt-in, you'll get a lot more leads. I mean, right now, you are probably, by having all this info and having it kind of all over the place, you are probably hurting your opt-in rates big time. You could probably double them, if not more, by just simplifying that whole thing down and fixing that up. And of course, if you double the opt-in rates, then of course you have a larger chance of getting the sales. Now, as far as not getting sales on that, you also didn't say like what you got, like what lead cost you got or anything like that with your paid ads. So there's a lot of info that we don't have to really know more to help. But, you know, definitely fix up the opt-in page right there. And then definitely, once they get your free book or report or whatever that is, try to have like some kind of like an upsell. Even, you know, especially off of paid ads, if you have like a lower price upsell almost immediately to try to get some impulse buys, it's much easier to get like a cheaper sale first than like a $50 or $100 sale, or $1,000 sale, especially if you're on a smaller budget and you're trying to judge to see what works and what does not. And then of course, whatever product you give away, you also want to make sure is really helpful, really clear, and makes you look really, really good. Because right now on the sales page alone, honestly, it doesn't look good. It's not to say it can't, but with a few easy fixes, you can make this like 100 times better. So definitely put the time into that. Sean, is there any other thoughts that you have in this thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure you mentioned the science.
Yeah, that's a good
I mean,
point.
if you're going to say to people, look, you should buy my book. It has all these natural remedies in it. Where's the proof? Where's the studies from, you know, medical journals, Harvard Medical School, you know, National Health Institute, you know, whoever that is saying, oh, you know, this chemical, this ingredient, this thing scientifically proven to accomplish whatever your result is. So presuming that the person who wrote this book has done the research and the information is quality and based upon science, that science should be referenced in the sales letter. And that's why you see, and how powerful is this? That's why you see so many headlines or subheadlines for information products related to medical scenarios that start off with, Harvard University medical breakthrough, Oxford University, reveals, the startling new discovery, right? Because we want to rely on the information from respected institutions in order to make our decisions. A random guy saying, take 3 vitamin C tablets and your hair will grow back, that's just not going to do it for everybody. Okay. So you need to bring in, whatever the scientific studies are. You can reference them. You'll see a lot of sales letters these days will, in fact, have footnotes at the bottom of the sales letter referenced throughout. When they say, a 2017 study showed XYZ, and you'll actually see a footnote there in the reference at the bottom of the page, right to the medical journal where that information was pulled from, because this stuff is really important. And if you're going to make these claims, you want to be able to follow up with them. Somebody else said, is there a money back guarantee? And if there is, you should have that in there. And one of our members also asked, go ahead, what, Brian?
Here's the really big point right here. You see that, and that's a perfect point that I just mentioned prior. If someone on this call is saying, oh, do you have a money back guarantee? It looks like the product is free again. It looks like you just need to enter your email once you click here to have access, but nowhere on this page do you say it's free. It's kind of like the difference.
So Brian, click, is it free?
It appears to, well, yeah, I showed that. I clicked here and it goes to basically an option.
Put fake info in.
Put some fake info in, all right.
Yeah, well, because I'm not sure, I don't know if, I want to see what happens next.
Test at testtest.com. All right, I want to get the book now.
Congratulations, you're about to get a free copy of the book. Okay, so you're getting the free book, and that's all there is to it.
And I would change the picture.
And now you're getting, no, keep going. Now you're getting special bonuses when you get the free book. I know we're being brutal, but here's the point. There we go. Keep going. Keep going.
So the value of this is $500.
No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right. Besides the $5,000 oily hair book. Okay. So we can, no. Go back to the $5,000 deposit. So if you want, this obviously can't be dollars or pounds. Plus is worth 50,000. What's the pound sign supposed to stand for in terms of dollars or I'm sorry, currency? Pardon me.
I don't know what that it could just be like, I don't know if that's a mistake or a typo or what, but
or somebody, or this was just all supposed to be placeholders that nobody ever actually got it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, and see, now we've got. This is awesome. Now we hit the testimonials all the way back here. Somebody said this appears to be a Nigerian currency, which might be why it looks incredibly expensive.
Yeah, and right here.
Oh, and wait, Nancy thinks it's a scam just because you're supposed to send your bank info. Yeah, it doesn't make you feel confident, does it?
Yeah, like a cash deposit or a mobile transfer there, and on top of that too, the testimonials that you have, they don't look good because like one says that they had basically a dandruff issue and that was fixed, and most of these are women. I'm guessing a lot of people that, I mean, granted there are several women that can be bald and lose hair. It's probably a larger issue among men. I'd be guessing. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that probably more men than women would probably search for hair loss help and all that. And again, there's nothing really mentioned saying that they would help that it helped them regrow their hair. So like right off the bat, it makes it look like, hey, so maybe you helped make their hair look nicer, but or you helped basically with the dandruff, but there's nothing about the hair regrowth, you know, which you had. Oh, it looked like. All right, so it looks like way at the very bottom you have one that basically talks about the hair regrowth stuff. I would again move that up to the very top. And you also have basically a timer where they have 3 days to take part in this special deal. And that's an excessive amount of time if you want them to basically move. And also, right where you have the countdown, there's no like button that they'd click to basically buy or get that. And I'm not like, there's no one-click button to buy anything. And I'm not even sure how to claim my book because there's no like, there's nothing that says it was sent to you. There's nothing that says click here to download. There's also like nothing that says, you know, click here to buy, other than, hey, reach out to me right here and give me your bank info. I mean, you'll probably, I mean, unless this is like normal in the country that you're from, you know, might work there, but for like 99% of the rest of the world, you're scaring everyone off because no one on earth will give you like their bank account, especially when they're expecting a free book that they don't get now, because there's no link there. And now you may have emailed it to them, but they don't know that. If so, say that. And two, if you're selling worldwide, at the very least, use dollars, because that's the currency that people are expecting. No one knows what this is right here. If you're selling, of course, just, you know, in your country where that's what they use, you know, that's fine, but definitely fix this all up. But this explains why you're probably not getting the sales that you thought that you were. And again, definitely right here, if possible, give them some way to buy right then, or some way to download the books, some way to buy the upsell. It's really confusing as to what this is. Like again, I'm still not sure if you're selling the book or you're giving the book away or what, and that will have a lot of people feel like they're basically gypped and probably
So hey Brian, let me interject because somebody just wrote in that they are Nigerian, and that this actually is the way that a typical Nigerian site would look, and the request and the way it would operate.
Okay.
So it, you know, and that might work in Nigeria where people are used to seeing it, and our comments are responsive to if you want to sell to anyone who's not from Nigeria.
Yeah.
But we probably should move on, or we won't get to the next site since we're already 40 minutes in.
So the next one, I'll move to a Shopify site. Now there were a few of you that had a Shopify site, so I'll just show one because obviously the tips and stuff apply to all. Just like with a lot of these sites, we kind of picked, you know, instead of showing like 3 or 4 almost identical ones, we kind of picked ones to represent there. The one here, let's see, this one right here, it was the BadassShoeStore.com, and it's a Shopify site. And the first issue that I saw, I just refreshed the page, is there's a lot of products outside of shoes and stuff. I mean, yeah. So, like, I think like the third or fourth thing that slides by has nothing to do with shoes. But it looks to me like right here, it looks like you have a lot of shoes. Looks kind of cool. And one thing that you want to definitely do, looks like you have basically a custom line that has nothing to do with shoes. But you know, if you're trying to sell clothes and stuff, that's fine. But you might want to consider possibly a site outside of that. But let's go to sandals once. So one important thing is anytime you have kind of like an e-commerce store, you want to make sure that the individual products you have each have their own page. And on top of that, you want to make sure that you optimize each individual page well. So like right here, it looks like you have like a ton of sandals in this case. Although when I click on sandals, I'm not obviously a gal, but that doesn't look like sandals to me. Unless there's like high-heeled sandals, or that looks more like a high-heeled shoe, but I'm not an expert on shoes. I could be wrong, but one of those things that you should do right here is that you want to make sure that the keywords or the names or the descriptions that you have on the shoe itself or on the sandal, in this case here, are very reflective of what the product is. So in this case, what's the first thing that you see? Like if you're looking at the shoe, you're probably not appealing to anyone who wants a sandal. You know, maybe it'd be high heels sandal with jewels or sparkles or something along those lines right there. Like try to have it be descriptive of what the product is. That means that you're more likely to get someone searching for exactly what that is. You'll get less searches then, but it'll be more exact ones and far more likely to get sales and stuff there. So if we click that, we see it's a high toe heel daily wear sandal. That's all fine, but you want to also see, hey, is this a keyword term that people actually search for? And more importantly, if someone wants like basically an open toe high heel, would they really want this guy right here versus a more descriptive one might be one with like jewels or diamonds or, you know, something along those lines in it right there. And you want to make sure that every page you have is, you know, has basically title takes and stuff reflective of that right there. I also right here, like like you say here, it's the rhinestones. Make sure to mention that probably in the description of it, or in the or not the description, but in the title tag and stuff, and in the title of it right here to have it more of a chance of actually ranking for someone searching for stilettos with rhinestones and stuff like that right there. The other thing too is I would have some kind of like a guarantee mentioned right here, because like if I'm buying shoes, one of my main concerns is that, and I know this is true on the men's side, but I've been told it's even more true on the women's side, is that shoe sizes don't necessarily always line up. Like in some brands, a 7 might be an 8, or it might be a 6. And like a major concern a lot of shoppers would have is, well, what if I get the shoe? I love the shoe. I really like it, but I'm really worried that if I get it, it might not fit. What then? Do you have a return policy? Do you have anything like that? And you might have that somewhere mentioned. I don't know offhand, but definitely right off the bat, if you have a return policy like that, mention that, because it makes them feel much more safe, especially with products like shoes or any type of clothes, where probably the number one concern that anyone would have is, what if it doesn't fit? So you want to make sure to basically address that as much as you can right there. The other thing too is that on the product page right here, I think your pricing could use some work, because you're like all over the place. Like here's one that here's one that ends in 98 cents. Here's one that ends in a flat buck. Here's one that ends in 94 cents. Here's one that ends in 75 cents. Here's one that ends in 44 cents and 84 cents and 20 cents. It doesn't quite make sense. Like it seems like it almost looks like, to me and a lot of people, it might seem almost like a fake site or like a robot type site. At the very least, maybe round up or down to like, you know, the closest 97 cents or something along those lines right there. It just makes it look basically a lot more like, I guess, more of like a better flow.
Hey, Brian.
Yep.
You know, a lot of these look like the Chinese descriptions.
Yeah, that's true too. A lot of them.
You know, and by that, I'm not being offensive to anyone who's from China, but if you look a lot of times at the way that descriptions get written for products that are on Alibaba or AliExpress, where you buy the manufactured products direct from China, they tend to include like every possible keyword about the product. like a shoe, in order for someone who's searching for that shoe to maybe trip over their product. So they don't just say it's a sandal. It'll be, you know, red dress sandal, casual shoe, women's shoe. I mean, it's like this run-on sentence of adjectives and nouns trying to make sure that they get everything in the title possible. And I think a lot of these might have been copied right off of that based upon the way that is. Like this one, just stop right there. The one on the left with the jewelry, right? That says woman barefoot sandals, beach foot jewelry, wedding ankle chain anklet, right? No one would stop and write that as a product title if you were trying to sell just that product to most of the English-speaking world. So a lot of this got to be really cleaned up. As somebody else pointed out, this is built in a template, and when you got further down the page, it even had a spot that was like, you know, put new product here.
Yeah.
Or yeah, custom content down the bottom. See that? Custom content, add new content to display here. I mean, the site's not even done yet.
Yeah, and like right here.
And also one more thing, just, and I'll let you go.
Sure.
One woman mentioned a really good point, which is if you're going to sell shoes, when you get to the shoe description, you need to tell people what they're made out of.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was actually about to be my next point too, is that in the titles itself, especially if you want to try to rank, like if I ask now, again, I'm not a shoe expert, so I don't know the official names. I mean, I know sandals, high heels, and boots. That's about it. But like,
hey, and you know, tennis shoes.
Yes, I know a decent amount about those, but those are pretty easy. There's not a whole lot to those. But right here, like, how would you describe that? Like, let's pretend that it's leather, okay? Like, in that case, you might say, like, black leather, high-heeled, open-toed sandal, or open-toed boot or shoe, or whatever you'd call that right there. But here, if you look in the description, you know, there's no mention of the color, no mention of, I mean, they say leather here, does not say open toe. So it's like, it's not really, if someone is trying to search for like most women, I'm guessing, at least based on the ones I know, they have like an idea in mind of what they're looking for, and they try to search and find those and whatnot. And that's a big point too, is that not only do you want the title tags and stuff to have the keywords relevant to the actual shoe or boot or whatever in question, but on top of that, you also want to make sure that the graphics you use have the proper image alt tags and such too. At the very least, and an easy way around that is when you upload, and you know, if you use Webfire, a lot of sites allow you to instantly change basically the alt tags on the images. If you're using a site that does not allow you to do that, you can actually change the name of the file when you upload it. So instead of a file being like 11529.jpg, have it be like women's black open-toed boot, or high-heeled boot, or some kind of term like that, because that will actually greatly increase your chances of not only getting that page to actually rank, but also at the same time getting the image itself to actually rank. And then you can also look into paid ads too. So and for a very specific term. So if someone is looking for a black leather open-toed high-heeled sandal, you know that, you know, if someone basically types that exact term in, there won't be a lot of them, but if someone types that in, you know, there's a very good chance they might like that shoe that you have right there. And you can basically pinpoint, you know, exact ads for exact products with exact searches and stuff right there for fairly cheap. Like, let's say like you sell this for $32. I don't know your raw cost, but let's say it's, you know, 10 or 15 bucks or so. For something that probably does not have a ton of competition for a keyword like that, you're probably not paying a ton, but you have a good chance of, if you get like 10 guys to your site for that specific exact term right there, you have a good chance of landing a sale off that right there. The other thing that I would basically caution you on too is the site itself has like a lot of like kind of, I'd say, like exotic shoes and boots. Like that's like, this is the kind of boot right here and the kind of legging thing that, you know, I don't see that too often. I mean, you might see it like a lot in like Vegas, but you don't see those kind too often. So you might be appealing to a very small group of women. And again, I don't know if that's a large enough niche to be, to have like a lot of dough in or not. But since you have so many boots and shoes and sandals, maybe try to go through and say, hey, what are the most popular things or the popular accessories and stuff like that, which maybe have a mass appeal. One thing I saw on the sandals was, where was it? Right here. It looks like you have some kind of a cool, kind of like it looks like, you call it like a buckle beam, which I don't know my shoes, but it looks like it's a way that you're selling the accessory here that can basically attach to any shoe to help them keep their feet in. That might be kind of like a cool accessory, especially if you're selling that for $5. That might be the cool kind of accessory that a lot of women might say, well, gee, regardless of their shoe size and regardless of the shoes that they have or want, that might be the kind of accessory that a lot of women might think, well, gee, that's pretty smart. My shoe won't, or my foot won't slip out, as much right there. That's the kind of thing that might have a mass appeal that might do very well on paid ads and stuff like that. And this would probably do well. And something like Facebook is kind of like a lead gen where you sell it for the $5. I don't know what your raw cost is, but if you're selling for $5, my guess is your cost is like maybe, half that or so right there. It'd be a good way to get some leads in and then sell them other accessories, other shoes and stuff like that. Another thing, on that same note, you want to appeal to, again, shoes and stuff. So shoes and accessories that have like a mass appeal there is one product I've seen a lot of women really like, and I've noticed this trend probably like a few years ago, and it has gotten like a little bit larger now, are what I call, there's probably like an official name, but what I call like either the fold up or like the roll up shoes that are like can fold up in a purse. And if you're wearing like high heeled shoes, or you go out dancing, or you're at like a business meeting and you have like the fancy high heeled shoes, apparently those aren't fun to wear from what I hear. I've never actually tried one, but it doesn't look fun to walk around in all day. Whereas the fold up shoes, or almost like slippers, you can roll up in a purse, roll them on your feet, and walk around in those instead of having to have the high heels all day. That's kind of like a mass appeal type product right there. And what you can do is, I just looked on AliExpress really quick. I searched for roll-up shoes. There's probably a bunch of other names that you could use on those too. Just get an idea. And you see right here, there's about here's like 100 lot pair for less than $4 a pair right there. And you could probably get a custom name as well. Usually it's places it's like, it costs them almost nothing to change the name on that. And if you reach out and say, hey, I'd love to get some of these, could you have this name or this logo here instead? Most of them will do that oftentimes for free or very, very cheap. And you can start to sell those right there, and that's another perfect lead gen right there. And here's the cool part right there. So if you get these for less than $4 a pop, you see, if you go to Amazon, they're selling for, here's one for 14, here's one for 18. These are all like basically the fold up ones, exact same ones that, again, is a raw cost of less than $4. And you see that they're rated really, really, really high. I mean, it looks like they're 4 out of 5 stars, which tells you it's kind of a popular product right there, and definitely like a mainstream one. I mean, there's like hundreds of reviews on these guys right here. So it kind of basically tells you, hey, that might be another good lead gen where, you maybe sell that, on the front end, then you maybe have like an OTTO for something, maybe like the buckle accessory or like little things like that, and then you try to show off kind of your cooler shoes and sandals and stuff like that to get the clients interested in your stuff right there. And definitely try to think, hey, what is more of a mass appeal? What would be more of a popular product? and stuff like that. And you can do it like I know at one point you said that you also liked basically your clothing line and stuff. You had like I'll go back to your site. You had like a badass one that was, or it's called like, yeah, right here. You can kind of do the same thing there too. You can kind of test around there, see what maybe those popular products are, try to sell those. But on the Shopify side, this person, as well as a few more, were basically asking how to change around stuff within Shopify itself. So the gal that had the site basically offered us her login, so we could kind of show off what you could do inside the site itself. So I logged in, and let me see, I'll try to pull this up. Here it is right here. I logged into Shopify, and you see this right here. What you want to do, you want to go to where it says products. And once it loads, yep, we see all sorts of products that they have, including like a bunch of products that don't have much to do with shoes and stuff, like mugs and whatnot. What you want to do is pick any of the products in question right here. Let's just do, all right, let me find one here. I'll just do the first one, I guess. We'll click product in question. And the stuff you see right here is obviously for the Shopify page itself. So you want to make sure that you have a good title and stuff there. You want to make sure that the description you have and stuff is good and makes sense. But for the SEO stuff, you want to go down to the very bottom right here where it says Search Engine Listing Preview. Then you want to click on Edit Website SEO, and it will go down to here where it has your page title and your description and your URL and handle and all that right there. So for the page title, that's what I would call basically the title tag. It's what shows up right here. It's that blue link. Whereas the description is what shows up right here. So you want to make sure that you target keywords and descriptions that people are searching for, they have a good chance of ranking for. Like right here, if you sell it in a certain color or a certain kind of fabric or anything like that, make sure to mention that. So this is where you change that around right here. And to do the keyword research, one thing that you can do is I saw, so for like, if you, like one of the shoes that I saw right prior, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it was a mule or mules. It's a kind of a women's shoe. Again, I apologize because again, I'm obviously not into women's shoes. But to find keywords for those shoes, you could basically type in a term like women's shoes or women's mules or anything like that. And then what you want to do, instead of clicking start, you could click start custom instead, and it will show all the keywords down here. It won't actually analyze them yet because it shows all the keywords right here. You can pick the ones that you think makes the most sense for you. It'll be much faster search than if you just click search and it searches like all 50, which can take a long time. But if you do a custom one, you can kind of click through and say, hey, that might make sense, that might make sense, and you can just kind of click through the ones that you think are relevant to you. In some cases like this, it might be almost all of them. In another search that I did in an example here, well, I guess I didn't do that one right there, but if I did like women's shoes, and I click on custom first, in a second, it will show a bunch of shoes. Actually, I might need to re-log in because I think it kicked me back out. So I can do that in a second here. Let's actually re-log in to show this out. So I'm just going to log out and log in real quick, or refresh the page, I mean. Yep, that was it right there. Kicked me out because I was in it too long. So I just froze it for a second as I enter my details so you don't see everything. All right. All right, here we are, and we're back. And if you click for a keyword like this, we'll have like a lot of terms. Like a lot of them you might not necessarily want to try to rank for. Like, you know, shoes and boots themselves wouldn't necessarily match up, right? So you can basically check off the ones that you're interested in, then click here after that, and it will start to analyze the ones that you're interested in. The ones that are in green are ones that you have a greater chance to rank for. But you see, like right here, there's a lot of search volume for a lot of these. Even for the mules term, you see right here, just a ton of search volume right there. So you can kind of click through and see which ones you have an easier or harder chance to try to rank for, and then specifically try to target those on your Shopify, you know, keywords and titles and stuff right here, and in the descriptions and all that. But more importantly, too, for such a big site like that, I think it's really important to pick a handful of popular products and try to specifically target those products on things like AdWords for as exact a phrase as you can, and for more of the mainstream products at the same time, try to target some Facebook ads and stuff like that, where you're selling stuff like the roll-up shoes or stuff like the one buckle accessory, because it's the kind of thing that like almost all women probably have some high-heeled shoes, and they might actually benefit from like the buckle thing, or almost all women at one point just want to have like some roll-up shoes in their purse that they can whip out and stuff like that. That's more of a mainstream offer like there, and try to make like a better front end like that. Sean, do you have any input or anything like that before we go to Q&A and wrap up real quick?
The only other thing was, you know, I think this person was asking, you know, how do you use Webfire to you know, improve your site? And you've seen a lot of ideas here, and if you go through the rest of the Webfire training, because we've got not only general training on how to promote pretty much anything you could think of in the universe, but also we've got other training specifically on how to promote e-com stores, how to promote Shopify stores, and if you go through that, you're going to find a lot of information and, you know, reviews of sites like this that I think really help you to fine tune what you're doing in your store, and in some cases kind of get out of your own way and to get the results that you're looking for. But we've run long, so if anybody's got any questions, type them in. But in the meantime, Brian, let's give them the link to the Facebook group, which I think most of you guys are members in, but right. Let's do it.
Yep. So the link to the Facebook group, which is free to join, is getwebfire.com/FB group. So getwebfire.com/FB group. If you're not a member of that, just click the join. It is free, and Sharon will approve you probably, you know, within like a minute or two. And you'll see a post from her towards the very top. In fact, you'll see it like right here, basically asking what you thought of to today's call. If you click on the comment right here and you leave a comment, we'll pick a random winner where we'll actually do the drawing live in just a few minutes. And of course, we always appreciate likes and shares and all that too. But just post here to leave a comment within that post right there, and we'll pick a winner in just a few minutes right here. Of course, in the meantime, if there's any last minute questions or anything like that, feel free to ask those. Then it looks like most of you want us to do some more of these next week and stuff, so we'll try to do some more then. Sean, or let's actually, I'll look to see if there's any questions right here.
Questions, we got all kind of questions, but here's a good one right while you're right on that page. Martin asked, is it better to use all 320 characters in the meta description?
No, so it's not meant to be like, hey, try to make the most use of it. Like I'd say you don't like you're overthinking it. The rule of thumb right there is make sure that the description and the title, of course, lines up with exactly what your offers or what the page is about. That's the most important. And then also make sure the main keywords you're trying to target hopefully are mentioned somewhere in there too. Now you can have some additional keywords or terms in there. Like, a good example is, let's say you have a page on how to, let's say, potty train a puppy. You can have a title tag of like, how to potty train a puppy fast dash 5-minute trick, where your main keyword might be potty train a puppy, but you're also at the same time going for how to potty train a puppy and also how to potty train a puppy fast. So you have a bunch of different terms kind of all in one, which give you greater chance at ranking for at least one or more. And when you add terms in there like 5-minute trick or anything like that, it doesn't help from the SEO point, but it can help increase the click-throughs because it stands out as something kind of cool to click through, almost like a clickbait type then right there, and that can actually increase your rankings and stuff too. But on the descriptions, no, like you don't have to have it be real long, but I'd say definitely try to have like the keyword or keywords in the description, and make sure that if someone looks at the title and the description, that they know exactly what the site's on and that it lines up perfectly with what you're trying to rank for too. Because oftentimes I see a lot of people, they want to rank for a lot of terms that have nothing to really do with their page, or are like a pretty broad leap. Like if you have basically a guide on weight loss tips for men or weight loss tips for older men, you don't want to rank for terms like weight loss or diet. Even though they're related, it's more of a leap to say basically a diet is related to a weight loss tips for older men type book. The majority of people looking for something on diet are not your target market right there. So try to keep that in mind as well. But no, you don't have to have it be super long or anything like that. All right, the Facebook book address once again is getwebfire.com/FB group, or it's also facebook.com/groups/webfire. Okay. All right, so we got some recommendations for future calls on affiliate marketing and some more on SEO. That's great. We can actually talk more about that next week or the week after. But at the same time, make sure to search inside of Webfire. So actually, I'll show you since I'm basically already there. Right here, if you go under to the training and go to the Wednesday, you'll see a huge list right here with the most recent ones at the very top. Today's call, you'll see there either by the end of the day or by this time to tomorrow. And you can also search, like right here, if you want to search for SEO, you see a bunch of stuff should show up right there. So all those calls would be relevant to you right there. Like a big one on SEO would be New Age SEO, on page and off page. Like all those would be good ones for you right there. Same things with like affiliate and stuff. If you basically type in affiliate, you see we have ones just on affiliate marketing, affiliate tips, another one on affiliate marketing. So make sure that you take advantage of that, because that's why we have that search, and that's why we do these calls and all that. Okay. All right, so person asked, let's see. This person said, can I give an example for golf. Well, if you have a golf website, feel free to submit that. I'm not quite sure what you mean by an example for golf. All right. What is the best video for how to do website audits? Well, we have actually a few on those. We have one on five ways to or 5 services and stuff that you can sell, and one talks about basically doing the SEO stuff. But anytime that you can give something of massive value out, you're more likely to get those leads and stuff in. But we can definitely talk more about that in the future. But definitely look through this one right here. And if you get lost, you're not quite sure, just feel free to write us at support@webfire.com or use the help desk link at the top, and they can definitely point a few out to you right there. All right, Francis said if we have specific training on network marketing. We don't have a call specifically on that, but we do actually address that on several other calls as basically part of that, like if you're in that niche, including how to find leads in that. So it's like several of the lead tools and stuff you can find, guys, asking questions on different network marketing opportunities and stuff like that there. Yeah, and we can talk a bit more about that in the future. So all right, so let's give some cash away right here. I'm just going to switch screens right now. All right, just going to refresh the page. All right, so make sure you leave a comment within that right there. I'll give you guys maybe 10 more seconds, and then we'll do the drawing. All right, so 10, 9, I need to move this down. This is annoying. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So someone's still writing right there. All right. Like one of you wrote in the wrong one, but that's fine. We'll still count that. All right. So whoever's typing, I'll give you again 5 seconds to wrap up. Okay, good. One more. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So there was one that wrote outside of that. That's fine. Plus 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the 28. So 33. So pretty good odds this call. So 1 to 33. What do you think will be the winner, Sean?
Ooh, 22.
All right, let's see. Generate 10. So, all right. So
yeah, I'm getting worse at this guessing game.
Number 10.
I'm going to need to stick to online marketing.
1, 2, 3.
I'm not going to make it as a number guesser.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. John Bergman, this is you, or looks like you, and you have a total of 29 friends. Congratulations. You are $100 richer, or you will be, as soon as you submit your PayPal info to Sharon in the chat box. So just type that in the chat box, and she'll get you your $100 this afternoon. So again, congratulations to John Bergman for being this week's Wednesday Marketing Webinar winner. And again, we have these calls every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so look forward to seeing you guys next week as well. And of course, these are all recorded as well, so we'll have these up in the members area shortly as well. So with that, guys, hope you have a great rest of the week. And if there's any other questions or anything that pops up, feel free to write us at support@webfire.com. So thanks much, guys, and we'll talk to you later.